So I know my last movie review was a Casey Affleck movie, but I just found another one.
Let's make this one for the books. Call just went out. 2.5 minutes.
Rápido!
I do a cop just like
Gunshots going off that'll awake the dead.
There is no limit to what desperate men will do when pushed.
Triple 9, officer down. Please respond, all units.
Hey guys, welcome to Owen Sound, and today I'm going to be talking about 999. I know I'm a little behind on this one. It did come out at the start of the year, I believe, but I really wanted to catch up and watch a couple of these 2016 movies that I hadn't watched. This movie is directed by John Hillcoat, who will only really be known in the mainstream for the movie that he did Lawless with Shia LaBeouf, Tom Hardy, and Jessica Chastain. But to be perfectly honest, the real thing that they were clearly selling this movie on was the insane amount of stars that are in this movie. As mentioned before, we have Casey Affleck, Kate Winslet, Norman Reedus, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Aaron Paul, Anthony Mackie, Woody Harrelson, Gal Gadot, also Michael K. Williams, and Teresa Palmer, who was also in Lights Out, which I may talk about if I have time before the end of the year. So how could I have missed this movie at the start of the year? So despite the shocking amount of star power that they packed into this movie, the real reason nobody was talking about this movie throughout the year was that it was frankly suffering from the worst sin of all, which is being boring. Although the movie does follow a bunch of corrupt cops committing a heist that chains in a bunch of different acts of violence and crime throughout the city as revenge and different stuff like this, the movie just doesn't hit the beats at all. And I find even the main action sequences of this movie at times were just really boring to watch. Even the main heist that is kind of the advertised part of the action in the film. The movie just has a weird sense of pacing. You have this great action sequence, kind of great at the start, but throughout the movie there's only one or two of these, and then the rest is just people talking, and not in a way that people talking is bad, but it's just that the way that the movie does this, it's a lot of boring talking, to be frankly honest. And I just found that there's so much of the movie where you're just following people, and it doesn't work really at all in this movie, and the way that the movie is shot is way more of a gritty action movie, and it just doesn't work when they're trying to do two different things, when it's clear that this movie should have been something else. Overall too, most of the cast really isn't used. It basically comes down to Woody Harrelson, Casey Affleck, and Chiwetel Ejiofor being really the main characters of this movie that you see most of the movie. And Kate Winslet is the main villain of this movie, and despite the fact that she is, you know, this huge well-known Oscar winner, she's in about like 5 minutes total runtime of the entire movie, and even though she is great in these couple scenes that she is in, you really don't even feel the full threat of her, as it just feels like she's like a person pretending to be evil at times. And the air of mystery they try to give the movie to make things seem mysterious and like you don't know what's going on really doesn't help the movie, as this really just doesn't feel like that kind of movie. It really feels like more of a kind of like some sort of action thriller that doesn't need the air of mystery and really shouldn't use the air of mystery type. And once again, to be honest, I just found the movie kind of super dull. I found so many sequences were could just fast forward through them. I found myself distracting myself. I was watching the movie at home, but I just found myself distracting myself as I frankly started thinking to myself like, oh, what do I have to do, blah 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 blah, and which is like to me the worst sign in any movie is if you just start thinking of other things, as I really do think that no movie should make you want to think that. And overall, I just got the air that this was kind of a movie where somebody was thinking, throw money at the problem, which is why you see so many of these different actors in it. And I really had this feeling like, maybe this is where the money for the script or some other part of the crew and production of the movie should have gone, rather than just throwing all these actors who ultimately a bunch of them end up just showing up for the opening sequence and then have like 2 more scenes throughout the movie and then are just gone. Despite this, Chiwetel Ejiofor actually delivers probably the best performance of the entire movie, given he is one of the few Oscar nominees, or even just anybody that's been at the Oscars in the entire cast. I did find he was the most enjoyable character. You relate to him the most. The movie does focus on him the most, but I found that his performance was the best one. It had the most emotion, and overall it just felt like it was the one thing that kind of redeemed this movie a little bit. Despite that, there also are a few twists and turns that make the movie a little more interesting than you might want to give it credit to, resulting in a couple moments where I was actually, like, frankly, a little enjoying the astonishment that I was getting at certain events. So overall, with a lot of the glaring issues, the, I guess, kind of misleading selling of the movie, movie, and just the overall boredom I felt watching it. I will not be giving 999 anything close to a 9. I want to give this movie a 5, to be perfectly honest. I wanted to go a little bit lower, but considering some of the good ways that the twists are used, Chiwetel Ejiofor's performance, and the strength of a couple scenes throughout the movie, I think it's worthy of a 5, although if I tried to watch this again, I would definitely probably drop it down to a 4. So as always, guys, you can check out everything I do at my Owen Sound blog. As always, for everything movie related, you can check out everything I do there on the Real Deal podcast. This is the podcast that I do with my friend Michael, who's also an actor. We always do this at the soundcloud.com/real_deal. And to wrap things up, as this is the second Casey Affleck film I'm doing in a row, I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite Casey Affleck flick?